Alright, so if you've been watching this channel since Brockhampton's been dropped Saturate the Saturation series, then you know I am definitely a fan of Brockhampton. Not, I wouldn't call myself a stan, but I'm definitely a huge fan of Brockhampton. So I feel like I can say this because I feel, of course, Brockhampton fans will be watching this, and of course, in the Brockhampton fan base, of course, they're members of the LGBTQIA F, LGBTQIA. I feel like there's an F, but there are definitely people of the LGBT. We'll just keep it right there. There are definitely people of that community watching this review, if anyone's watching, and there are definitely, of course, in the fan base, like I said, people who are of the community watching this. So I feel like I can say this without, I'm saying it in a joking way, of course, in a loving way, and at the same time, I feel like I can say this without offending anybody. What up, bitches? What up, homos? What up, fags? I'm here to review. Y'all know I'm just kidding with y'all. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way at all. I mean, I don't have red. I don't have red because I don't have any red silly bands. I never had red silly bands, even though I believe some exist. So I'm going with pink, but I have the rest of the colors to celebrate Pride Month. What up, y'all? I'm back with another review, and I'm here to review the newest project, the third studio album from Kevin Abstract, a leader or the main guy, people, the guy that people are most familiar with in Brockhampton, Kevin Abstract, his third studio album, Arizona Baby. And like I said, I did not mean that in a I was just saying that in a joking way. I was saying that in a loving way. I know in the community we say that with each other, just fuck around and joke, and in a loving way at times as well. And by in no way that I mean that disrespectful way. I mean, heck, I'm part of the community. Like these colors you see, the pink, especially the pink, the blue, especially the pink, especially the blue, especially the purple. That represents who I am in the community, the bisexual community. So, and I mean that to offend anybody at all. Let's go ahead and get right into this. This is an 11-track project which went from an EP to an album, and it dropped in a 3-week span, weekly. Uh, but yeah, let's go ahead and get right into this. The first track I want to talk about is Big Wheels, and I talk about every track, I believe. Yeah, I talk about every track, so it's an all-track review, just like most of my reviews. Big Wheels. And apparently, fame has changed Kevin in the eyes of people back home, especially his homies. And he kind of feels guilt. He talks about how he's been feeling low and he's been accused of queer baiting. And he said, like, stop being a bitch and queer hate. And how he should have shunned niggas who were getting like that or who were being that way to him in the first place. And it gets very jazzy as well. So, of course, I'm a fan of that. The second track is Joyride. What did he say here? Uh, is there any way I can get college back? Because I know I missed out on what I lack. And he also raps about his mother and his boyfriend, which occurred throughout this album. So we'll touch on that more in more detail later. And he also talks about loyalty to his boyfriend. And he also touches on later on in the album actually about his boyfriend's loyalty to him. Third track, Georgia. Uh, Everything is fine in Georgia or back in Georgia from what I'm getting from this track because it's him, his mom, his the boys, Brockhampton, his boyfriend's Audie, and he talked about coming from Houston, Texas, where his teachers used to beat him, and he wondered like what they would do to him, how they'd make him suffer if they talked about, well, if he told them, if they knew that he had a crush on a classmate of his, and they talked about how to smoke and how they mess around, cuddle, dream, and cuddle and things like that. But for me, that's just a dream scenario: girl, boy, boy, or girl. So, well, maybe not. No, well, no, the smoking too. Yeah, the smoking too. And it just talks about leaving home and finding people and seeing his worth and praying for his friends and just praying that the journey, well, them praying that the journey wouldn't end. So yeah, I really enjoyed this track and the chorus too. I got Georgia on my mind and nobody left behind. It's between myself and I. And one thing about this project is he uses locations for the titles of the tracks in very interesting ways because it just talks about phases or points in his life, being in different uh, place, being at a different place mentally, but also as far as the location and how it affected him and changed things, but how things kind of at the same time stayed the same. The next track is Corpus Christi, which is where Kevin's from, but I believe the band is from San Marcos, Texas, which was one of my favorite tracks off of Iridescence. So yeah, they've been doing that, using locations as titles and making them feel more special that way, and probably more special to them just because those locations mean something to them. Here he's just talking about trying to cope with stress and how he did cope with a kid over in Europe, and because he needs something to make him feel less lonely, and he just talked about being well, just feeling like his money is all that he'll ever have, and his homies they're just gonna have theirs, and how he hasn't called his aunt who's passing because his pride won't let him call, and he fears he's been a bad nephew, a bad son, a boyfriend, and just hopes that when he dies that all will be forgiven. And he even wonders about Amir, and he even mentioned Amir, and he just told Dom in the middle of the song he was sorry that he even brought Amir up. And how he's the type of person who's worried more about others than himself, and that he's more helpful to other people than himself, and how he thinks people want him dead because his brother thinks that Kevin's brother thinks that he wanted him dead, and his sister's on the Instagram freaking raising hell because Kevin won't give his niece a shout out, and through all this, he's just saying like it's a miracle that his boyfriend is still with him, like he's more than an angel, and that's very sweet. Trick number 5, Baby Boy. What did he say here? Every time I feel myself, I feel so lost, and every truth that I discover feels so false. Fuck. Fuck. You man. And what's this? Every mountain that I climb seems so tall. Uh it only felt that way because the valley was so small. And how when he's alone with God, um, something's missing now, and it reminded me of how what something is missing now. It reminded me of that. It reminded me of something about him off of Iridescence. Something about him. I know I've got to have him. And ooh 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 ooh. Mm-mm. Um. And yeah, just trying to figure out how he can get away from all this. Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. That was from the next track, but I just talked about how God's all he has. I mean, like when he's all alone crying like that, and when God has left him alone, he's still alone, but with God. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what Kevin's trying to say, especially if you've heard the track. Track number 6, Mississippi. One of the darker beats on this project, and I really fuck with that. Um, it just said like, you'll find that I'm not myself. I'm in the wine house with all my boys who need help. And he, again, crying when he's alone, and how like, do you want to be my love? Do you want to be my boyfriend? Be my Mississippi sunshine? Uh, don't, uh, don't get it, don't get twisted with your Mississippi love. And he just talked about how he loves his friends and how he tells them that, and um, just the feelings mean nothing when they argue, and how he'll be in the back seat drunk and just trying to figure out how to get away from all the stress. So definitely um, a weird but difficult, kind of struggling at times in a relationship with his friends, which I'm sure we all do. Track number 7, Use Me. A church gospel intro, not from Kevin, but just like an audio from a choir. And just talked about how he's he talked about how he's still trying to fuck every Mormon, which Kevin was actually raised as a Mormon. I learned when I saw him walking down his old neighborhood, I want to say, with Amir. I saw that on YouTube. Um, but yeah, and he also talked about how things that were negative in his life, like seeing people use drugs and just just traumas, and wondering how he could bring all the generational trauma into his existence, because he's lived it and he raps about it, and he's even gotten vicious due to that. And I feel like he's trying to say, like, use me, being the track of the title, just talking to his fans that um, who don't necessarily speak up for them, not necessarily don't speak up for themselves, but he's saying, like, use me. He'll be the person who speaks for them, and gets criticized for them, so they don't have to. Because I know he said, like, as long as he feels there's somewhere a fan listening that hasn't come out or doesn't feel all right with themselves, how long he'll still make music, and why he'll continue to, as long as there's a fan that needs a voice. Track number 8, Peach. Additional vocals from Dominic, Fike, Joba, and Bareface. Oh, Bareface with that lovely voice, and Joba being the Brockhampton member that I am when I took that test. I just love the chorus. I absolutely love the chorus. And Kevin talks about old relationships from his youth back in Georgia, and how what did Joba and Bareface say? Everything's all peaches and cream. But also maybe that's why this track is called Peach, because being Atlanta or just being in Georgia, Georgia Peach. Track number 9, American Problem. Kevin here talked about drinking, smoking, suicidal thoughts, relationship struggles. Tyler, the creator, being a real inspiration to him back in ninth grade, and I'm sure to this day he still is. And just wanting to get into film and things like that. Wanting to buy his mom and dad, buy his parents a home, sleeping on the couch, being obsessed with a blouse that rhymed accidentally, and what else? Thinking about how cute this older guy was, and how that guy was older than him, so he was breaking the rules, and he was breaking the rules anyway because that just the fact that he was liking a guy. I'm assuming this happened in school. The principal, Mormon school, principal was like, he didn't call him a flaming fag, but Kevin sure did feel that when he was sitting in his office. And I just love the beat transition here. I just loved it. Track number 10, Crumble, featuring vocals from Dominic Fike, Jack Antonoff, and Ryan Beatty. I love the guitar here. Kevin talked about feeling low, his demons showing, how he's tired of crying, and just drugs. Drugs, like I said, but also charges against him. Shit just happening, place getting shot up, him being with his siblings and things like that. And what do you say? All his siblings turn out just like their dads. Just airing out, and how he wants to be outside when he's outside of this person's window, probably his boyfriend or maybe his siblings. How he just wants to crumble because all of it just gets him down. And the last track, Boyer. One of my favorite tracks on here, like Peach and like Mississippi. Banger. One of just a banger. And just saying you cannot run forever, gotta learn your lesson. And he was talking about being high as hell. What did he say? I was high as hell, hanging with my white friends, thinking I would be alright if I'm just like them. Then the police pull up with the lights dim, have me on my has me on the ground begging for my life, man. Well, yeah, that that happens. It's something to laugh at, but that definitely happens, and I can tell you from experience. I'm sure the black guys can tell you, or black people can tell you too, especially black guys though. You hang around your white friends, you can't do the same shit they do and think you can just get away with that shit. It's not gonna happen. um, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed this project. Glad to hear this. I have to go back and listen to All American, or American Boyfriend, and All American Trash. American Boyfriend being Kevin's album, but All American Trash, I believe what it was called, is the project from Brockhampton in like 2015, 2016. I definitely have to go back and listen to those. I'm still listening to so much music from other artists, but still obsessed with the Saturation series and Iridescence. So uh, learn a lot about Kevin. I didn't know he was going. I mean, I had an idea what he was going through, but as far as him coping with it through drugs, I was like, I didn't really know about that. Um, but for him to bring up Amir, that was really nice because Amir was one of my favorite uh, members of Brockhampton, up there with like Merlin and Kevin himself, Bareface's dreamy vocals, Joba, Matt Champion, the yummy Matt Champion. So yeah, everyone who performs is pretty much one of my favorite members. Then you got the guys in the, who are on the doing like the art and covers and everything and marketing and stuff like that. But so yeah, but Amir definitely with songs like Cash with his verses on them and that song Tolerance or High Tolerance from him himself. Um, but yeah, I give this project a 7 to a 7.25 out of 10. If you've heard this project, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below and what y'all think about my review on it. If you haven't heard it, I definitely recommend that you check it out. Then come back once you have heard it. Let me know what you think about my review on it and what you think about the project itself. And of course, what you think about the project. Uh, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Be sure to like button if you like this review, share the review, subscribe to the channel if you're new and like the content that you see. I'd really appreciate it. And check the description for not just the link to this project so you can check it out if you haven't heard it, but also links to my Twitter, Facebook, my PSN, my email, and I feel like there's one more thing I'm forgetting. But that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching. Happy Pride Month, and I will see y'all next time.